Hey, welcome to iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. I'm your host, Alan Campbell, and sitting in for Karen is my man, Keith Johnson, the Prime Minister.
Footy Mac K all day.
There we go. There we go. Hey, I'm going to say something to show for a moment. I want to, first of all, I want to make sure that the lines open. I'm opening up the lines like I do every week, really early. So if you want to give us a call here, but keep what I need for you all to do is that when you do call in, keep your comments, limit your comments to, I know everybody got a lot to say, but keep it to 2 minutes. That doesn't prevent if you want to call back that you can do. For the first thing, the phone number is 708-223-8953. But the first thing I'm gonna talk about or get into something, I'm gonna do a small little segment here, and I want people to know a moment because we've all had this happen.
Yes.
Think about what they're used to do, and I do mean stupid stuff. And I got one. I don't know if this will top anybody's, but it's really funny. This is a true story. I didn't believe it until I saw it myself. When I moved when I home and got my own place, and then I'll go back to my parents' home just for a quick for a visit or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I couldn't understand why they had this couch, and I couldn't understand was so low to I couldn't understand that.
Okay. And I'm
And so I got to ask him. So I asked my sister, hey, why would he buy this couch that was so low? And my dad was, he was notorious for, at that time we would call it bargains.
Right.
Nowadays you call it Billy.
Couch didn't come with the.
Hold on.
Okay.
She begins to tell this, Alan. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you what happened, how this happened. And I said, okay, all right, cool. I'm good for that. So she begins the story with saying, well, he's the couch, and he was the childhood house that I grew up in, and we had to come through the door, but you had to make a quick 45-degree turn. So type of was a in itself correct.
Right.
So he's trying to get this couch in, and he's turning it this way and turning it that way. Now, mind you, my brothers are out there trying to help him, and so this time he was out there about 35-40 minutes trying to. He even thought about through the window.
How many men does it take?
What that would be a honest question for my father.
Okay.
So the neighbors started to come out, and they were wondering, they're trying to look at it, look at this, this going on.
Right.
So what happened? She goes on that ready to saw the couch in half.
Wow.
To get it into the house. Are you kidding? He said no. She goes on to proceed. I say okay, but proceed on. Ultimately, he didn't saw. But proceeded on. What he did, he reached a level of frustration. Saw the legs of the couch off. True story. I can't make this up. I'm not that clever. He saw off, and when he was saw the last leg, and it's off the couch.
Oh wow.
That's why the couch was so low to the ground. So if you got a story that's just defies all logic, when late about 9:45, shoot us a shirt.
Yeah, my father, a great man, all within itself. Now, when we was construction worker, he worked how Steve wanted to sleep. Well, me and my cousins are right, my dad up. You know what I'm saying? He used to always say, "The big wheel up. Man, I kid you not, man. New Year's came along. New Year's came along, and you know, I'm from here in Chicago. When New Year's
Right.
day before he hit the ground, booyah, 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 and then he still end up having to buy another one. You know,
that goes along. That goes to what we're
Right.
saying. The stupid stuff your father used to do.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into our show. I just thought I would throw that out. It's just something that ran across my mind during my day. A few things in the news in the city of Chicago. The city has deployed, let me rephrase that, they have put out or deployed 82 new police officers. 82 new police officers going to hit the streets. These are the academy recruits. These are rookies that are going out from the 2017 class. And they're placing them in, high crime areas, such as Austin, Roseland, and Inglewood. But a activist, she had a very good point. She made a very good observation. She says, and I go on and I'm going to paraphrase a couple of things. She said that if these officers are not culturally sensitive, and think and hear that word, think about that for a minute, are not culturally sensitive and do not treat citizens as they are, it's just going to be another cycle of distrust among the force and the citizens. Now, right now, from now, 100 new officers will be deployed each month from now till the end of 2018. But the key thing there, if they are not culturally sensitive, and understanding what that means, because this is going to be the segue into our show. What that means is that they have to understand the people that you are policing. I'm not throwing law enforcement under the bus. I'm not throwing people under the bus. I'm not doing that. But we have to understand how to interact with people. You got to realize that these people have been set aside. They're disenfranchised. They're angry about a lot of different things, and that's only because of a lot of things that have gone on inside, as well as even in our own homes, because we don't hold ourselves accountable for the shenanigans and BS that we tend to perpetrate, or we tend to be a part of. Let me rephrase that word: be a part of. Because I think you were telling me something about we were discussing something earlier before the show. You mentioned something about going on a rash of incidents in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And you got a little more information on that than I do.
Well, I will gladly share, man. It's epidemic, man. I mean, it is. I mean, you normally would hear about this type of thing, and what I'm talking about is the stolen car issues. Okay, the teenagers that they're not even old enough to drive yet, they're stealing cars and they're flipping them over in the middle of the street, tearing up honest, hardworking citizens' cars. They don't have no insurance, and not only that, people are actually getting hurt. People are actually dying from some of these incidents. I mean, it happens. I won't be surprised in the morning when I get up in the morning, see on the news last night, another, big thing happened with them flipping over cars. And when I say flipping them over, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, you go through Milwaukee now, you will see easily 2 or 3 cars sitting up on top of the roof. Yeah, it's terrible. This is terrible.
This is the thing, but this goes back to what we're saying. Sometimes we have to agree. We have to admit that sometimes a lot of things we do bring upon ourselves, but this particular thing, we definitely do bring this on ourselves. Now, the other thing is that now, and this is part of that also, Colin Kaepernick, he has filed a grievance against the NFL and the owners, which solidifies him never playing taking another snap in the NFL, because I mean it's ultimately you're filing a suit against your boss, but he's well within his rights according to the NFLPA. That's the National Football League's Player Association.
Okay.
He's well within his rights, but to a point, I blame the NFL and I blame the NFL. I blame the Players Association and also some of this also. See, this is a lot of people are going to upset. Okay, I'm going to get ready to go to that sacred cow.
Oh.
I'm going to the sacred cow. So on that point, so I might need security.
Oh wow.
Just got it all here.
Security's on deck.
So might need security. But see, a lot of this when Colin Kaepernick began his protests back in 2016 as a member of the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
We had the issue of police officers and citizens or black men being gunned down with no type of ramification for the said known officers. Two things happen: either the or a hung jury. A hung jury, hung jury is the same as acquittal. They're not gonna want to buy this case. They're not going to want to do it. They're not going to do it. Now, when I say I'm going to gut this, I'm going to continue Cal, that knucklehead Obama.
Barack.
I guess I can get away with this. This asshat. This is where, as a president, of people who have been keyword oppressed forever and a day, and you're sitting in a position to make a difference. We're not asking when we talked last week about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the preamble, and I'm just going to pull a small portion of that preamble like I did last week, and I'm gonna keep hitting it. Keyword: all men are created equal. All men. But here's the problem with that.
You gotta be a man first to be even considered.
Well, not only that, but you got to be a citizen to even be considered a man, for this to apply.
Wow. You have to break this down.
That's the whole thing. So this might be too much for some people to swallow. This is that meat. And see, we may still have, we can't break it down any more than what we're breaking it down to. This is the part to where we got to elevate ourselves. We got to grow up. We have to put, as they say, one of those PBS television kids educational shows. We got to put our thinking caps on.
Feed your brain.
There you go. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, why is it? Well, let me rephrase that. Why is it that we as black people have the damnedest time trying to enjoy these little three things that is afforded everyone, even people who are here illegally? How is it get treated better than we are?
In most cases, really.
No, it ain't even in most cases. It is legitimate.
Wow.
Pursuit of happiness. Now, here's the part that's really that should ring true. That rings true. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter. I rephrase that. It's the right of the people to alter or to abolish and institute a new government. The problem with doing that is that sometimes, there's not enough of us to stand to really do what we need to do. During the civil rights march, during the civil rights era, when we were getting something done, we march, we protest, we shut them down. The problem is that now we're still here, 2017. Okay, but we march, but we're marching the wrong way. We're chasing the wrong dog.
Chasing the wrong
dog. This is what we're doing. Chasing the wrong dog. The national anthem, first and foremost, none of this stuff actually applies to us because, first of all, we're not even considered citizens.
According to what?
Okay. According to
can we get some facts? Can we get
all
some
you need
facts?
to do, all you need to do is pull up the Dred Scott case, and that tells you right there that we are not citizens. I'm gonna pull this. This is the Dred Scott case here, okay? And I'm gonna pull this up for you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
The
Please.
Dred Scott case, the case in which the United States Supreme Court held that descendants of Africans who were imported into this country and sold as slaves were not included or intended to be included under the word citizen. This is actually on the law book.
Wow.
In the Constitution,
Wow.
whether emancipated or not, and remain without rights or privileges except as those in which the government might grant them. Understand now, keyword, that the government may grant them. May grant. That is so asinine. It just defies all logic. All logic.
Wow.
We have to understand that the first 13 amendments, citizen is with a capital C. Everything after the 13th Amendment, citizen is with a small c, which means that you're no longer considered that. Or subject. We have to ask ourselves these questions. This is a question I asked last week. Are we citizens or are we subjects? Apparently, we're not citizens because of the way, the treatment that we have been getting. The treatment that we're getting. No, we're subjects. No, we are subjects.
Court gestures.
Subjects. We're subjects. Hey, good evening. Welcome to the show, the Chronicles of Rohn. Who do I have on the phone and where are you calling from?
All right, you have Kazon, and I'm calling from Pensacola, Florida.
All right. What's on your mind, Pensacola?
Yes, sir. I don't know if I'm listening to a recorded show, but I hear my man on my subject. He's talking about the Dred Scott case, and if not, there were so-called people that we call Black or African Americans are actually citizens. Am I listening to the right show?
Yes, you are.
You are.
And yes, you are, and we are live.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. This is my subject. And again, anytime I call in, I'm never calling in to fight. Either I'm an ad or I'm just going to listen. One or the other. We have to move far past that fighting. But
kind of man.
Right on that topic, that keeps. We're always looking for a way. Well, where can we start at, or what can we get together on? How can we come together? Why don't we take what is written right there in front of our face? So you covered Dred Scott. I heard you cover that amendment not being capital C all the way up to the 13th Amendment. And I just want to add into you guys' show Article 4, or better yet, you can look up the word citizen in law and move it down to 4. And it tells you that it's the descendants of the Aborigines and those of African origin. They didn't say from Africa. Let's make sure we get that clear so we won't have to kind of mess with are we African? Are we this? We're both. We've been traveling back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean when it was just a river. That's not a big deal. It's not even a big argument and whatnot. But it says that any of those of African origin are not entitled to the rights of citizens. If that's not the topic on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, C-SPAN, all top radio stations, including y'all, and what y'all are covering it tonight, then my question is, what are we doing?
No, and you are absolutely right. That's the key thing. What are we doing? See, here's the thing too, and I want to create a small dialogue because I want to make sure that other people have an opportunity. The thing is that when we have people when we have people in position of power, and I'm talking about these jackass politicians,
Don Lemon.
Let's wait. When we talk about Don Lemon, we talk about Don Lemon. We talk about the Maxine Waters. We talk about a few other people I can't think of right offhand. These are the people who are in positions to say, "Hey, look, we have to." If we talk about one America, one country, we have to change that. Like you say, all we do sometimes as Black people, we complain to the wrong people. We complain to our brothers or our sisters or the postman or the daytime. Exactly. But what we do too is some of us continue to put these jackasses back into these positions. And going back to the sacred cow, The sacred cow, he was in a position to say, look, if we're talking about equality, we have to make sure that we're talking about it across the board. Listen, that's what we have to do. When we talk about citizens, we have to make sure that those people who are, quote, have the rights as Americans are given those, are afforded. When in Rome actually is the blueprint of the sitting government right now, of sitting government, any government across the world. And you had two types of people. You had subjects and you had citizens. The citizens were afforded every amenity and right as a citizen of that city or province. A subject did not, which means that you caught a lot of hell if you were a subject. You couldn't do things, you couldn't do certain things. This is where it is, this is where we are right now. But I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Go, but if you had another point, go ahead.
We are a nation of people, and I know we've heard it before. We are a nation trapped in, my contribution is this. I claim both, and I mean both. We can equally say that you could find us in Africa, you could find us here. My thing is this. We are a nation of people with a lot of different ideologies. We have me and a brother was talking this morning, and and we were dialoguing, and I said, brother, people wake up on different levels. I call those little pieces of the puzzle, because everybody wants to get their story in as far as how they either became woke, or came into this study, or either came into the conversation, and they shouldn't be. And because I'm down south, I'm from New Jersey. In New Jersey, we say no. In Alabama, they say no. But we both know what each other's talking about. So why argue on who's pronouncing it right instead of laying it out there in front of us? That citizen conversation, my friend, is a very, very, very good topic. The line should be filled up. I mean, because there are people who look like us are walking around here really thinking that Constitution and those amendments apply to them.
Right.
I tell them we are the only nation of people who can really go out. It's done to you by another group of people. They don't do Chinese like that. No. We went to war with Japan. Yep. They're not out here putting, people can make that argument and say, well, nobody acts like we do, or black people kill black people. And listen, it is well known. People are mainly, very rare you get a person who's completely killed by a stranger, and those conversations get so diluted over the main topic. They have it wrote there, no differently than I just told my daughter. How color in law can be implied or an express. Now, she's going to work on this essay to break both of those words down, implied and express. That's her homework here. I'll give her a couple of days to knock that out and do her little research on that.
Good for you.
We have to take these topics very, very, very serious, because, gentlemen, look, I'm 45. All right, what? I've been a hard-working man all my life. I've smoked before. I'm not a big drinker, but I will nip. But my point is this. Will I be here another 45 years? Probably. Questioning my contribution to what exactly I want to leave my children and my grandchildren, other than some money, other than the house, because you don't own the house. Okay, everything you get is a certificate of. I heard the brother use that word "of" a while ago, and my best analogy of that is, you are right. A sleeve. A sleeve is part of a jacket. It's not the jacket. Not the jacket. It's part of the jacket. United States of America. And remember, at one time you used to read United States for America. So I think I dropped enough down. So we got implied, we got express, we have citizenship, I heard subject citizen, I heard Dred Scott. So we have covered, at least 6 main topics tonight already for people to kind of sit back on their own time. If we don't have enough time to really just teach it, but that'll give them a little bit of an idea, hopefully, of where we're coming from. And it also give us at least a starting spot. We got to have a starting spot.
Right. You got to have. I appreciate it. Thank you, Carl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pensacola. Thank you, Pensacola. Man, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. When you talk about feed your brain, see, this is the thing that we have to really delve into. And we have to kill the old adage. If you ever want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book. We got to start thinking beyond that. We got to start educating ourselves. We have to understand first of all, we have to understand who we are to even be able to apply some of these things to us. But
I gotta touch on something that you definitely want to talk about.
Tell you what, I want you to do me a favor. Hold that comment till we hold that comment. We're gonna take us a break here at the Chronicles of Rohn. Hey, if you all have if you got a conversation piece or comments or suggestions, please feel free and give us a call and leave it on our voicemail for the Chronicles of Rohn at 872-267-1381. The lines are open. Hey, shout out, to my sponsor, Nubian Beauty of Hair. Check out their website of their fabulous products, luxuryhairdirect.com/Nubian4. And to Brother-in-Law's Barbecue over there on Chicago Avenue. We appreciate y'all.
And the washing machine, man.
Oh, there we go, on the washing machine, man. Give us a call here at the station at 708-223-8953. Hey, welcome back to the show, The Chronicles of Rohn. I'm your host, Alan J. Campbell, and sitting in with me tonight is my man, the Prime Minister, Keith Johnson.
Footy Mac K all day.
There we go. When we left, we took a break, and we're talking about citizens and citizens. And our caller from Pensacola hit on some, this is what we're talking about, hitting on some really good things. Damn. And like he was explaining how he broke it down to his daughter. This is where we have to begin. And the other thing that he said, we have to have a starting point. We have to begin somewhere. And this is the thing. And I know this sounds like beating a dead horse when we talk about the sacred cow. You know what? I'm going to continue to talk about until the message gets across, because we are in a position. No, we were in a position.
Yes.
See, the thing
to get something done.
To get something done.
Yes.
But see, that's the understanding. But you got to remember now. See, this is this is us selling us a dream.
Wow.
What was this fool's tagline?
Oh man.
Change.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Wow. Nick, look, dude, look, I get passionate. I get very passionate. But look, I'm passionate because when I see something that shouldn't be, or I'm going to address something, and I don't care if you don't like it. Hey, I might need security. I might need, as Jamie Foxx said, I might need security.
Security on deck.
Hey, that's it. That's it. Then on top of that, we this is a point to where we have to address this as levels of citizenship. Hey, welcome to the show, The Chronicles of Rohn. Who do I have on the line, and where are you calling from?
This is Jay from Georgia.
What's happening in Georgia?
What up, Jay?
All right, so let's get into this. Very good discussion to start out with, but another interesting fact that we need to become aware of. I'm gonna try to be brief, but the thing that we can go back and forth on is all day is where do we start? What do we do? First of all, any civilization, the core of that civilization starts with a basis of identity. Once you understand who you are and from whence you came, then that is the fundamental block that goes forward. You can't have a community without a family. So the core issue is who defines the family? What defines the family? What is the blueprint of the family? From there, that is where you begin to build everything else. So I say that because we keep making excuses, and I say this a whole lot, but we always make an excuse of why we cannot find it within ourselves to take the initiative to make a stand and start with self.
Self.
Period. It has to start there. Mm-hmm. And from there, mm-hmm. all growth will begin to perpetuate. Now, a sidebar, dealing with everything that you guys have been talking about tonight as it relates to the issue of subject and citizen. I've told people that for almost 15, 20 years. America has always treated its people of color as subjects and not citizens. The very way that law enforcement reacts to you, the court systems, has always been hostile, because the whole thing is, whose thing is this and why is it in my place? It's never a matter of mutual respect. It's whose is this and why is it here? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's how you deal with the subject. But I'll digress. A sidebar, very quickly, that we need to be aware of, because again, we typically tend to miss the bigger picture because we're chasing foolishness. The FBI introduced a new threat identification. Their new threat that they have been studying and have released or have profiled, and the key word that we need to pay attention to is profile. Is what they call a BIE, as in Black Identity Extremist. Now, this is a very important term, because whenever the FBI releases something, it's because they have created or have developed a profile based upon some information that they know or that they're about to perpetuate that will fit this narrative. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we need to be very careful of that. And that slipped right through of the media, because it was released and it was talked about for not less than a second. The BIE has just been identified by the FBI. No one caught that. Be very careful of that, because that term will come up again. In the same breath, the University of Florida is going to spend close to $500,000 to protect and to coordinate a security team to help ensure that a white supremacist who goes under the guise of white nationalist can speak and be unobstructed at the University of Florida, mm-hmm. which is, again, the stand your ground battleground state, on Friday.
Wow.
Over $500,000 is being projected to be spent on security detail and law enforcement to ensure that this particular protest does not have any interruptions. So what's interesting that we should really, really pay attention to is the Black Lives Matter never, if at any, could even get a permit to walk the streets. But this particular individual, or his ideology and his backing, can summon up to $500,000 in law enforcement detail.
Protection.
That's my 2 cents. But you have to watch this narrative of this place called America, because I always spell America with 3 Ks.
Wait, you know what, Georgia? I want you to say that again. How do you spell America? How do you spell America? Say it again for our callers.
I always spell America with 3 Ks.
So the Q.
Because in 1924, in several instances since, the KKK has been given invitation to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Make no mistake about it.
Yes, sir. What and were they not part of the DNC, the Democratic National Convention in 1924?
I'm glad you mentioned that.
They were part of that. They were not only invited, but they were part of it. Keyword, invited. The Democratic
of the Democratic National Convention. Let's also not be foolish to understand that in as far or as close or as recent, shall we say,
yes,
as 1964, Southern Black Democrats were not allowed to be seated with the delegation.
Yes, that's true. Okay. That's very true.
All right.
Wait a minute, but you're going to sit up and call yourself a Democrat when you go to the delegation with all of your other national Democrats and you can't even be seated? You are exactly what your mascot says, a jackass.
See, when the in America, the KKK have always hid behind the umbrella of some type of enforcement of United States of America.
No. I'm sorry. Don't ever make that assumption or that statement again, because they've never hidden.
Oh, no, it never hid.
Clear.
Okay,
they've never been hidden, and I'm going to tell you why. The KKK is only hidden by the individual identity. Be very clear. They're only hidden in individual identity.
No, they're out in front.
But they're very out in front. Let me give you another example. Again, there was something called the White Citizens Council that was extremely prominent in the South, Mississippi, parts of Georgia, but predominantly Mississippi.
That's what
and if you wanted to be acknowledged in business and you wanted to be in the in crowd, you were part of the White Citizens Council. Now, the key thing about this White Citizens Council be, of course, what?
White.
Caucasian and white.
Yeah.
The other thing that this afforded you was, this was like, for lack of a better term, your chamber of commerce.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing about this chamber of commerce, and I'm making parallels, is they also worked extremely close with law enforcement.
Extremely.
So this was, for a lack of better terms, a community social organization that operated in counterintelligence against its own citizens.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and 90% of their constituents, 90% of their constitution of what they were made of were Democrats.
And as I said before, and see, this is the thing. I think you and me and Keith talked about this once before, and it was in some things enlightening. And I asked the question. In fact, I'm going to ask that question for anyone that's listening. And please, I really implore you to call in. I really do.
Please.
When do you? First of all, we have to look at the mascot of the Democrat. The mascot. It's a jackass. It is a worthless creature. You actually have to beat this creature to get it to comply. Keyword: beat and comply. Does that not sound indicative of other things? Beat into compliance.
Okay, so let me just interject this one thing.
Yeah.
Look at the personality of most lifelong Democrats. They work the same job, same menial task. They refuse to be involved in anything that actually challenges them or strains them out of that comfort zone.
Like the Maxine Waters and
well, first of all, if you have a conversation about Max Waters, you need to also understand the Indian reservation casinos that Miss Maxine Waters and other members of Congress signed off on.
Mm-hmm.
the millions of acres of land in the state of California. See, so those people are the same people who tell you they don't know how to give you national health care.
Right.
Let me be very clear. Matter of we can't afford or we can't work out a system to make national health care. I don't want healthy jackasses.
That is a very good point.
It is.
I'll talk with y'all later. I know I've had my time.
All right, all
We
right.
enjoyed you. We enjoyed
All right. Thanks a lot, Georgia.
Please call again.
That was funny. He's exactly right. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Once again,
it does.
Keyword going back to, like he says, he spells America with 3 Ks. America with 3 Ks. We have to see, this is us still not understanding where we are as people in America. We have to start and say, are we citizens or are we subjects? Court gestures. And to piggyback off of what he said, that's the reason why you cannot. Good evening. Welcome to the show, the Chronicles of Rohn. Who do we have on the line and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Milwaukee. My name is Clifford Bent, and I'm calling on behalf of my guy, the Prime Minister, Footy.
Hey, what's up, Cliff?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Every day that I wake up, I'm blessed.
Awesome. I'm sure you calling in on behalf of the epidemic we having in Milwaukee with the stolen.
with these little cats stealing cars and stuff and running people over.
As he was telling us, yeah, definitely. Go ahead,
Cliff.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on, man. You know, it's like it's getting real bad out here. You know, I'm thinking about relocating, moving to Arizona.
You know, well, I'm gonna tell you what's going on.
And to get to what he was talking about, this is one of the things to where sometimes we have to look at sometimes the underlying basis. And when you feel disenfranchised, when you don't feel like part of a country, when you don't feel like a citizen, this is what people who feel like they're subjects do. This is a reactionary type of thing that they're doing. This is what it boils down to. And then on the flip side, you have law enforcement that comes in like the typical dog catcher would come in and do to put the what do they do when the dog catcher comes out? He's not coming. Most of them are not coming there to catch the dog. They're coming to put him down. Only because someone has let this rabid dog run loose through the picnic, and everybody's upset. But see, at the same time, it goes back to the owner's responsibility of bringing this into of instilling some form of reasoning. And I don't want to liken an individual to an animal, but this is how, unfortunately, we are looked at. And then at the same time, it still doesn't justify us acting a plumb fool either. And I got that. But go ahead. I just want to throw that in there before it slipped my mind.
Well, as a person,
yeah, but I think it's a lot deeper than that, though, if you really think about it, though, because at the same time, you know what I mean, when one person mess up in a black organization, they blame the whole black race to mess up, and they kill a whole bunch of black people, or they go to the schools and daycares and stuff and shoot up daycares and stuff. You know, like, we don't blame every white person.
Preach.
Yeah, and I agree. For example,
I don't really understand. So it goes back to racism. You know what I mean? They still look at all of us like we are criminals, and we are not. You know, if they really thought about it, we actually built the United States. We were slaves. We was the ones. They was the owners, and we was the ones who was doing the building.
Preach, Cliff.
So if they really think about it, we was the most productive people. All we could do is work. That's all we could do our whole life. They didn't give us a chance to learn. They didn't give us a chance to read, write, do anything. All we could do is work our whole life. So that's basically what most of us all we know. And it's just like you know the young black race. They feel like that. There's nothing better than sell drugs and stuff like that, because a lot of businesses right now is not hiring them.
On the behalf of our
think about it.
law enforcement, on the behalf of our upright walking law enforcement. I want to go on record saying that there are always good law enforcement, and then we have some of those that are questionable law enforcement. Thank you.
Yeah, true.
We have to, and it's the same thing with. Go ahead.
A lot of the crazy part about it is that a lot of law enforcement that I dealt with that wasn't of our nationality, they was pretty cool, and the ones that was our race, they was the racist ones.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of backwards. It seemed like the black law enforcement hate us more than the white.
Thank you for calling, Cliff. You're welcome to call back if you want to. We got to leave the lines open for someone else to call. But thank you for calling, Cliff. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed night.
You too. Appreciate it. He's got a good point, and that's the thing. But we have to going back to what I'm saying. There has to be a starting point. There has to be a starting point, and we have to look at we have to look at the thing overall.
Okay.
The problem is how things are structured. It's not structured for us. We have to. We are not citizens.
Absolutely.
We are not. And we've been. I think I was gonna go into my question. This is a sidebar right quick. I want people to think about when did you realize that you were a Democrat? When did you realize you were a Democrat? The show, the Chronicles of Rohn. Who do we have on the phone, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jed. Yeah, sorry about that. I heard the last call. I had to jump in real quick if I can.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks for calling, Jay.
Okay. So two things. As he was talking about the situation in Milwaukee, real simple solution. If you get someone who is a juvenile or someone who is stealing cars, you charge them and you charge the parents. That's real simple. Very simple solution. You do a 2-for-1. I guarantee you we're going to start to see a decline. If I got to go to jail for some foolishness you did, and I mean seriously jail, like you charge the parent with the exact same crime that this child was out here committing. Because had there been better stewards of the loose dogs that are on the street, we wouldn't have to send the dog catchers out to get them. First point. Second point, when he was making mention about the youth and them not having jobs or not being able to find jobs. As an employer and also as a business owner, my problem is when it comes to our nationality, I cannot find many, if at all, talent that is hireable. And that's a problem. Hireable. I don't always need a warm body. I need an individual. And in many instances, if I can't even get past the pronunciation of a name, I'm throwing the application in the trash. I don't have time to deal with it. And we have created a slew of individuals who A, don't have work ethic, B, don't understand the workforce, and C, are coming to a job force or a workforce with an expectation that it should just happen. That's a problem. So that creates a culture where they are unhireable. So if I have to look at 30 applications or even 4 applicants, who's hireable? Who is going to fit the culture, keyword, and the brand business? That's a parental question. Am I preparing my child to be a contributor into the bigger picture of a workforce? That's us. Because at the end of the day, 90% of y'all ain't going to go play ball, will not go to the NBA, will not be a stock car driver. We still ain't figured that one out because we keep losing. Keep losing.
Say it again. We keep doing what?
The drug game, we keep losing. If you keep losing the game, you may want to try a different game.
And the definition of insanity is what?
That we already know that. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
There we go. My man.
But we tend to function in that.
Thank you, Jay.
Just all right. Y'all take care.
All right. Thanks a lot, bro. He's got a point. Now, here's the thing. This is some interesting numbers too. Right. This is a sidebar on far as when he's talking about the NBA. See, what a lot of cats don't, they right now, I saw an article, the commissioner, David Stern, because what they have now for the NBA, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they have what they call a one and done, which means that an individual can, all he needs to do is do 1 year of out of high school. Hey, welcome to the show, the Chronicles of Rohn. Who do I have on the phone, and where are you calling from?
I'm gonna name it this way. And I believe this from my heart. I'm your Pensacola chapter. All
right, Pensacola.
I'm your chapter in Pensacola.
All right, Pensacola.
If you're in the area, you do look me up. We'll get a cup of coffee and do something.
Will do.
Gotcha.
Bless your heart.
This is pretty ironic and pretty special here for a minute. It's almost as a person judging their freedom. I think we need to define work. I think one day when you get a chance and have that show pumping, I wish you could get on 2 or 3 times out of the week. We need to really break down the definition of work. What exactly is work? Because I noticed that a lot of times, even on my Facebook or my Twitter, I noticed a lot of people judge their freedom by 2 things. 2 things they judge their freedom. They love and know God better than you or anybody else, and how many jobs they can juggle at one time is their definition of freedom. And that's a little kind of odd to me. And agreeing with not Jacob, but the other brother that called in when he was speaking of, we built this country. Well, if we built it, in the North, we all can chant and say, we built this. Why don't we act?
My man, right, Pensacola. I heard, you know what? I hope everybody heard that. The key word, like he just said, this is why, you know what? I love coming to the station each and every night doing my show, doing the show. I really, because.
I come all across state.
Right, exactly. What we're trying to do is create a dialogue of a smorgasbord, if that's the correct word, of intelligence and information, a wealth of information, people. We can no longer say what we've done. We have to say, what can we do better? What can we do better?
And I like to think the extension of the Pensacola's and Milwaukeeans that call in, they're adding to the smorgasbord, like sort of as in a bring a dish type of thing.
Like the old style way of, you show up to a picnic, everybody bring a dish. Now, guess what? If you don't bring a dish, you just gonna be a hungry some gun sitting over there with nothing to eat. Because I'm the kind of person, if I'm told to bring a dish, I'm bringing a dish. But this is also what I'm doing. I'm gonna find out who didn't bring a dish, and I'm bringing a can of Vienna sausages and some crackers and say to get it in.
That's right.
Hey, you didn't bring nothing. This is your meal.
That's right. That's how we did.
I'm keeping. Anybody know me? I keep it real. I keep it real. That's what you got to do.
That's what we do on the Chronicles of Rohn.
Yeah, we
keep it real.
We got to keep it real.
If we didn't keep it real, we couldn't exist.
We have to keep it real, people. We have to start developing a different dialogue.
Absolutely.
A different dialogue. But hey, that's all the time we have here tonight for the Chronicles of Rohn. It's so amazing how that hour goes by so quick. Zoom. It goes by so quick. I appreciate all the callers that called in tonight. I appreciate you guys. Keep calling in. And you know what? Spread the word on the show and what we talking about getting into, okay? Hey, to our sponsors. Hey, the barbecue man over there on Chicago Avenue. Brother-in-law barbecue. The wash machine man, and to Nubian Beauty of Hair. Check out their website. Luxury. Check out their website, luxuryhairdirect.com/by/Nubian4. Hey, not my monkey, not my circus. We out of here.
You smile, I smile.